Hello, today we are going to present our presentation slide for the course subject ESSB3143 Statistics in Social Science. Our assignment title is The Difference in Academic Pressure Based on Depression Status Among Students. So for the part of my presentation, I will introduce the study background, the dataset that we use, and the main variable that relevant to our analysis. So this study is based on the student depression dataset. The dataset is include a sample size of 100 undergraduate students. That means the analysis is focused on a relatively small but manageable group of students, which allow us to observe patterns related to academic and psychological factors within the sample. The scope of the dataset covers several important areas such as the demographic, the academic performance, lifestyle habit, and psychological indicator. This category are useful because depression is not usually caused by the only one factor, but it is often associated with a combination of academic stress, personal habit, as well as mental health condition. Our main research question is for this study is there significant differences in academic pressure based on student depression status? In simpler terms, we are trying to find out whether the students who are depressed experience different level of academic pressure compared to students who are not depressed. This is an important question because academic pressure is one of the most common stressors among university students, and it may play a role in mental health outcome. To answer this question, we selected three key variables from the dataset. The first variable is academic pressure. It is an ordinal variable measure scale from 1 to 5, where 1 represents very low and 5 represents very high pressure. This variable is important because it directly reflects how much stress student feels in relation to their academic workload and expectation. Since it is measured in ordered level, it allows us to compare pressure across students in a structured way. The second variable is CGPA, which stands for Cumulative Grade Point Average. This is a continuous ratio variable measured on a scale from 0.0 to 10.00. CGPA represents the academic performance, so it helps us examine whether the student with different mental health status also differ in the academic result. Even though the main research question focus on academic pressure, CGPA provides us a useful supporting information because pressure and performance are often connected. For example, students under high pressure may perform well academically, but in some cases, high pressure may also reduce performance if it becomes overwhelming. The third variable is the depression status. This is a categorical binary indicator coded as 0 for no and 1 for yes. This variable is the grouping variable in the study. In other words, it separates the student in two categories. First, those who have depression, and the other who has the depression. This makes it possible to compare academic pressure between the two groups. Without this variable, we will not be able to test whether the depression status is associated with differences in academic pressure. So the overall logic of the study is straightforward. We are comparing academic pressure between two groups of students based on the depression status, and we are also looking at the CGPA as a supporting academic indicator. The reason this topic matters is that university students often face a combination of academic demands, personal experience, and emotional strength. If academic pressure is significantly higher among students with depression, that will suggest that stress management and mental health support should be addressed more seriously in academic setting.
Now I will explain about data cleaning and verification. Before conducting any statistical analysis, we first perform data cleaning and verification to ensure that quality and reliability of our dataset. First, we conducted an audit and screening process. During the missing value audit, we found that there was no missing values across all key variables. This means our dataset was 100% complete, so no records needed to be removed or imputed. Next, we examined the variables for zero variance. We found that work pressure, job satisfaction, and profession had constant value across all participants. Since these variables show no variation, they could not contribute meaningful information to the analysis, were therefore excluded. After that, we perform an outlier analysis using the interquartile range or IQR method. For academic pressure, all responses were within the expected range of 1 to 5, indicating that no invalid values were present. For CGPA, the scores ranged from 5.24 to 9.93. The calculated IQR was 2.40, resulting in a lower boundary of 2.78 and upper boundary of 11.38. Since all CGPA values fell within these limits, no outliers were detected. As a result, all 100 students' records were retained for the final analysis, ensuring that the dataset was clean, complete, and suitable for further statistical testing. Now, for the descriptive statistic, after confirming the quality of the dataset, we conducted the descriptive statistic to summarize the characteristics of our sample. The study included 100 students and all variables had a sample size of 100. For CGPA, the average score was 7.6 with a median of 7.52 and a mode of 8.04. The scores range from 5.24 to 9.93, with a standard deviation of 1.4, indicating a moderate variation in students' academic performance. For academic pressure, the mean score was 2.89 on a scale of 1 to 5. Both the median and mode were 3, suggesting that most students experience a moderate level of academic pressure. The standard deviation was 1.38, showing some variability in how students perceive academic pressure. Lastly, for depression status, 52 students or 52% were classified as experiencing depression, while 48 students or 48% were classified as non-depressed. Since this is a binary variable, the value range from 0 to 1 with a standard deviation of 0.5. Overall, this descriptive statistic provides an overview of the participants' academic performance, perceived academic pressure, and mental health status before proceeding to further statistical analysis.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Asrul Nizam bin Unil. My number card is MS2410-31419. So today I will present the finding of academic pressure distribution among students. This data show the different level of academic stress experienced by the respondent based on 5 categories, ranking from very low to very high academic pressure. The study involves of 100 students. Based on result, 20% of students or 20 respondents. We categorize under level 1, which represent very low academic pressure. This indicates that the student experience minimal academic stress and are likely able to manage the academic responsibilities effectiveness. For level 2, which represent low academic pressure, the result also show 20% or 20 students. These students experience some academic demands, but the pressure remains manageable and does not significantly affect the learning experience. The highest percentage was recorded at level 3, which represent moderate academic pressure, with 31% or 31 respondents. This shows that moderate stress is the most common experience among students. A certain level of academic pressure can be beneficial because it may encourage students to stay motivated, complete their tasks, and improve their academic performance. However, continued pressure without proper management may lead to negative effect. For level 4, which represent high academic pressure, only 9% or 9 students. We record, although the present is smaller, students this category may face greater challenge, such as difficulty managing assignments, examination, and academic expectation. Meanwhile, level 5, representing very high academic pressure, involve 20% or 20 students. This is a significantly finding because 1/5 of the students experience extreme high level or academic. This student may be at risk of experiencing problems such as anxiety, reduced motivation, and difficult maintaining academic well-being. Overall, the finding revealed that 51% of students experience moderate to high levels of academic stress. This means that more than half of the respondents are facing considerable academic pressure that requires attention. Okay, next, key descriptive finding. Based on the comparison between depressed and non-depressed students, the analysis focus on two main aspects, which are academic pressure burden and academic performance based on CGPA. Firstly, in terms of academic pressure burden, the findings show a clear difference between the two groups. Students who were identified as depressed report a higher mean academic pressure score of 3.58 out of 5.00. In comparison, non-depressed students report a lower mean score of 2.15 out of 5.00. This finding suggests that students experience depression tend to face greater academic pressure compared to students without depression. The higher academic pressure may be related to various academic challenges such as heavy workload, examination stress, difficulty managing deadlines, and pressure to achieve good results. Therefore, academic pressure appears to be an important factor that may influence students' psychological well-being. Secondly, the student also examine academic performance based on CGPA. The results show that non-depressed students achieve a slightly higher mean CGPA of 7.77, while depression students record a mean CGPA of 7.44. Also, the difference between two groups is relatively small. The findings indicate that students experiencing depression may have slightly lower academic performance compared to this peer. This could be due to factors such as reduced motivation, difficulty concentrating, emotional challenge, or decreased engagement in learning activities.
Hello, my name is Elvin Nastin, and then my matrix number 2410 31649. Moving on the infernal test selection. For this study, we conducted two simple independent t-tests to compare two mutually inclusive groups. A student without depression and sub 1 equally 48, and student with depression and sub 2 equally 52. Our depend variable is the academic tertiary rating measured on 1 to 5 scale or null hypothesis positive that there is no significant difference in academic pursuit between the two groups. Well, our alternative hypothesis positive that a significant difference does anxiety. Looking at our main inferential finding on this slide, this analysis yielded a p-value of less than 0.05, allowing us to confidently reject the null hypothesis. This confirms a statistically significant difference in academic pursuit based on different status. Practically speaking, students experiencing depression face significantly high academic pursuit with a mean rating of 3.58 compared to 5.15 for non-depressed student. This strongly support that heavy academic workloads and exam stress a major catalyst for mental health struggles.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Aisha Balkismiti Sulaiman. My number metric is 24103134. Moving on to our recommendation, based on our finding, we propose 3 key interventions to reduce the negative impact of academic pressure on student mental health. The first recommendation is to implement cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. Group programs within higher education institution. CBT helps students recognize and reframe negative thought patterns while developing healthy coping strategy. Group-based sessions are also cost effective because they allow more students to receive support at the same time. According to Lee and Lee 2020, CBT interventions have been shown to significantly reduce depression symptoms and improve emotional resilience among university students. Our second recommendation is to expand digital mental health support service. University can provide online self-help platforms, mobile mental health application, and telecounseling service. This digital research make psychology support more accessibility, especially for students who may hesitate to seek face-to-face counseling due to stigma or time constraints. Bachelors and Colleges 2021 found the digital mental health service can effectively increase help-seeking behavior while improving student psychology well-being. The third recommendation is to incorporate mindfulness and stress management workshop into university programs. For example, mindfulness-based stress reduction or MBSR teaches students techniques such as breathing, exercise, meditation, and emotional regulation. Their practice can help students better manage academic stress, improve concentration, and enhance overall well-being. Research by Riveter and College supports the effectiveness of mindful intervention in reducing stress and promoting emotional regulation. To conclude, our study demonstrates a significant relationship between academic pressure and depression among university students. The findings suggest that higher levels of academic stress are associated with an increased risk of depressive symptoms, highlighting the importance of addressing this issue within higher education. From a social science perspective, this finding emphasizes that student mental health is influenced not only by individual factors but also by the academic environment. Therefore, universities play an essential role in creating supportive policies and providing appropriate mental health research. Based on our analysis, we recommend that higher education institutions adopt a more balanced academic workload, stringent counseling, and psychological support service, expand digital mental health research, and integrate stress management programs into student development activities. Although our study provides valuable insights, there are some limitations. Future research could include a large and more diverse samples, examination additional factors such as financial stress or family support, and use longitudinal studies to better understand how academic pressure affects mental health over time. In conclusion, improving student mental health requires collaboration among university, educator, counselor, and student themselves. That's all from me and us. Thank you.